Is it true that there is a sect that eats the brains of the dead?
Agori. They live in the mountains.
Hinduism, for the Westerner like me, but also many Indians, can know it thoroughly for various reasons. First of all, not all the sacred texts are accessible to many Indians. Only the Brahmins have them in Sanskrit, which also serves as a form of maintenance of the caste. They teach to whoever they want, so the average Indian cannot know them. This already explains how mysterious. So what I can tell you in this episode are just some of the most common curiosities about this religion, and I will try to convey to you that feeling that totally invades you when you are here. The spirituality. To observe spirituality in India, you don't have to look for places of worship, or at least not only those. You already walk on a place of worship. The earth, the trees, the animals, a conversation, a gesture, everything is considered divine, and everything is celebrated and thanked. Then there are cities linked to events that transform them into pilgrimage destinations, like Vrindavan, where I am now. Here Krishna grew up, one of the most beloved deities.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Before telling you about the spirituality of India, an update on my trip. As I told in the previous episode, to get here to Vrindavan, yesterday I spent a hellish day that started in Delhi and ended at 11:30 in a bad room with bad people from which I escaped this morning, and so...
Before starting the day, I'm going to look for the cheapest accommodation that is here, a kilometer away, and then I'll start visiting the city, and I'll try to explain to you a little about the figure of Krishna and the temples that are so many in this city where he spent the first part of his life. I finally found a place to sleep that is really wow for 10 euros. I have a clean room, but mostly in a place where you don't hear horns.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
I know that many people like him smile, dressed a little theatrically, their face painted, an almost childish smile, who instead of working sits on a bike singing. The invitation I make to those who watch this episode is not to consider them backward or strange folkloristic behaviors. What we judge to be backwardness I would define as testimony. It is also thanks to their so-called backwardness that we can study our origins, texts, cults and thoughts from which ours also derive, and where we can glimpse the origins of man, of all men, not just the Indian ones. When a human story is not supported by solid foundations, the passage of millennial time denies and erases, as has happened to many other forms of belief, but not for Hinduism, which is still here and powerful. A religion that refers to ancient texts and Vedas from over 3,000 years ago, within which there are also chronicles from 8,000 years ago. Whatever you believe in, even nothing. No one can have the presumption of truth if they have not at least stuck their nose into Hinduism. And then those smiles may also be childish, but receiving them from a meter away gives you peace, especially after unfortunate encounters like I had the day before.
Here in Vrindavan, there is a kind of procession that goes towards the sacred river.
I was a bit hesitant looking at him. 2x2 seater happened to be He was asking me, what for you are so hesitant. I told him, the reason for that, I'm up one language and all. You are there. No, for
No.
humanity is a celebration. He used to tell me, for a human being, there cannot be any problem for other human being. We are there to cooperate. Life is there as a celebration, although it has its own contradictions in it. It has its own contradictions. Life has got क्या हो गया? Life has got its own contradictions in it. But still, I would say, life is a very big celebration.
Nice.
You have met me, you will remember our faces. I have met him, he would remember me forever.
Yes.
A spirit of celebration is there. That's why life is indeed, so I feel we both here Indians, most of the Indians, they feel life as a very big celebration.
Wow.
Indeed, indeed. And you are most welcome. You'd find over there a celebrating mode everywhere in Benares, the Ganges, holy Ganges, passes through Aarti and all such things. Certainly you'd participate hopefully in Agra, it's
Agra.
our history.
Yes. Today I'm going to Agra.
Yeah, have a
And
look on
now I'm
Acha.
going to Agra.
Agra. Very good. Are,
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. How say bye in Hindi?
राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe in
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
And thank you.
Thank you, Dhanyavad.
Dhanyabad. Radhe Radhe.
राधे राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe.
Lord Krishna is not a man. Lord Krishna is a Param Puj Yogiraj Krishna.
Son of Vishnu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vishnu Sarupa.
Along the way.
I'll quickly tell you who Krishna was, because in my opinion the story here goes beyond religion. Krishna. First of all, he is a kind of reincarnation of the god Vishnu, a bit like our Jesus Christ. He comes to the world to chase away the king of the villages, right where they are now. He was a usurper who had to be chased away, and with the help of Krishna they will succeed. Krishna comes to the world for this. When a seer told King Kamsa that he would be killed by a son of Devaki, among whom one of them was Krishna, the king then decided to kill all the children of Devaki first, and then through a spell all those of the village, and this precisely recalls the story of Herod. Another interesting thing is that Krishna will then die because of the only weak point he had, his heel, and this also reminds us of the story of Achilles of ancient Greece, but posthumously with respect to Indian history, posthumously the story of Jesus. All this comes out of the concept of religion. It tells me that these stories tell that the history of man is one and only one. Then the migrations of populations bring myths, legends, beliefs, etc. that transform. However, if we go further and further back, I'm not saying that everything started from here, but coming to India helps us understand who we are, because we believe in certain things. In fact, now I will go to the sacred river where Krishna lived, was raised, was hidden, and then managed to defeat the famous king. The impression you get looking at the Indian streets is of total chaos. A mixture of colors, people, animals that seem to move randomly in decadent environments. An image that is indecipherable to us, but that instead has its explanation and concerns spirituality. To understand this chaos, however, we must start from the substantial difference with the other main religions. In Hinduism, God is not personified and identified in a single being, but is conceived as a cosmic principle, a vital energy spread throughout everything. Everything that exists, material and immaterial, is a manifestation of God, therefore worthy of being venerated, whether they are men, trees, or animals. From the ancient texts, more sacred or more important figures emerge for the creation or maintenance of life.
We have many god and goddess, but we have a three important god: Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Brahma is creator, Vishnu is operator, Shiva is destroyer. When we do it a good karma, then G-O-D, God life. And when we do bad karma, then opposite of the God, D-O-G, dog life.
Even for plants, there are some more sacred than others, which are made to grow without preventing its natural divine course, even if they invade houses or streets. Same thing for animals. There are more sacred ones, like the cow, necessary for the transport of the soul to the afterlife. But there are communities that feed less important animals like ants, or others that feed rats. And I have witnessed it in a town that you will see later, in which there is a temple with thousands of rats cared for and venerated. Another example on the concept of God is the greeting from Namaste, which literally means greeting the God that is in you, not the person. This concept that God is in everything creates thousands of manifestations called avatar or divinity, and every Hindu can choose which one and how many to follow without any imposition, because they all lead to the usual cosmic principle, Brahma or God. This is what continually moves people. They go towards the chosen divinities to bring offerings and prayers. Here life is not detached from spirituality, rather it is subordinated to spirituality.
Theoretically, they pray every day, at least twice a day. Very early in the morning and in the evening, more or less at sunset. It is something you can also do at home, because at home everyone has an altar, a home temple, and you pray to the gods, to the ancestors who are very important. In fact, at home, you keep the photo of those who are no longer there, and you put flower necklaces and you do the prayer nearby. This is the basis.
Hindus perform the puja ritual one or more times every day, a ritual of adoration and communication with God, in which I also participated once and which I will now explain to you. You enter the temple by ringing the bell as if asking permission. Then you queue to get in front of the divinity and you recite prayers, mantras or passages from the sacred texts. You offer gifts such as flowers, food or money in exchange for this offering, and you apply natural powder between the eyes, where the energetic gathering point is located, which is used to receive protection, purification and knowledge called tilak. Then you walk around the temple, and at the end we are offered a handful of consecrated food. This rite is a way to get in touch with the divinity and an exchange of offerings and protection.
There are many types of tika. This normal tika means that he has participated in the prayer to open the chakra. Then there are 3 yellow lines and half a red dot means that they are followers of Shiva. Then there are followers of Vishnu, Lord of the Universe.
2 things very important: karma and dharma. Karma, what you do for yourself, like a wake up, shower, puja, this is karma. Dharma means help. Today you help, tomorrow God help. You give, you get. You know give, how you can get in your life. Life is reincarnation, you know. That's the reason people believe in this. Any kind of a help, this is a dharma. Like an example, you lost the way. I show you direction. This is dharma. People hungry, give food. Dharma. People thirsty, water, dharma. No necessary with money. Now people greedy. Oh, this is my, I need this, I need this. So that moment we don't see good and bad. We just want more. We become greedy. But in the end, we have to leave everything here. Good communication, good connection. When good communication, good connection, good direction, life is easy. No communication, no connection, no direction. We same but different. Different color, different culture, different caste, different religions. We are a brother, but from another mother and father. But we are same but different. So sharing, caring and learning. Learn is life, and life give us to gift every morning to everyone. It's called chance and choice. Chance to know and choice to select. Good and bad. And we learn from both sides. It's called experience. So you are rich by experience. You are rich by blessing. You are not rich by material. Ram Ram. Ram Ram. Life is easy.
Those described so far are some of the infinite facets of Hinduism, a complex, ancient and mysterious religion. Its mystical part is powerful, as is its symbolism. For example, the swastika is said to have brought destruction because it was used for purposes other than the original, which is the ancestral wheel of life. Then there are many ribs of Hinduism scattered throughout India. Each has its own rites, myths and magic. One of the sects that I introduced at the beginning is that of the Aghoris who eat the brains of the dead, an extreme sect.
Sambhu, a form of Sambhu of Shiva. All forms of Shiva, the knowledge of Tantra, of black magic, are the Aghori.
The real Aghori Babas do not show themselves. The Aghori are the most mysterious of all the Babas. There have been various people who have tried to make documentaries about them, but in truth, they are hidden. And there are many stories of Westerners who tried to take photos or documentaries and disappeared. When I was in Varanasi, a Spanish man who wanted to make a documentary had just disappeared. This ritual that they do is cannibalism, because there is this ritual of consuming the brain of the deceased, and it is an honor for the deceased because it allows the soul to go directly to nirvana and not have to reincarnate again.
The approach to death tells us how, in these millennia, Western and Hindu thought have taken diametrically opposed paths. If in our culture one of the desires is immortality, and we do everything to prolong life, we give up medicine's therapeutic obstinacy, and we cling to every pleasure of the earth. The Hindu lives trying to detach himself from every passion, and awaits death hoping never to be reborn again. A world so far from which we can only be spectators of what they grant you. Before telling you about my next move, I hope I have satisfied some curiosities, and that the most important element is understood, the different perception of God that here has produced thousands of divinities, places of worship and rites, so many that throughout my trip I was enveloped day and night by celebration, and by this energy that, as I said at the beginning, invades you without asking permission.
Humanity is a celebration. Human being, there cannot be any problem for other human being. We are there to cooperate. Life is there as a celebration, although it has its own contradictions in it. But still, I would say life is a very big celebration.
Nice.
You have met me, you will remember our faces. Spirit of celebration is there. Most of the Indians, they feel life as a very big celebration. And you are most welcome in this place.
Bye.
Bye.
How say bye in Hindi?
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe in
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
And thank you.
Thank you, Dhanyavad.
Dhanyabad. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
The days in Vrindavan passed like this. The day was immersed in this strange world. In the evening, I walked back along the silent street of my house, a greeting to the dog, a stop in the garden to send messages to recover the portable battery that Misha had taken, story of the previous chapter. Then I slept exhausted, and in the morning I woke up surrounded by monkeys, the very nice monkeys, even if the day before one had jumped on my back and stolen my glasses, and then jumped on a roof to eat them, until
This guy jumped on the roof and got my glasses back.
he jumped like a monkey on the roof barefoot, and after a few minutes he came back with glasses. Cool, isn't it? For the recovery he asked for 100 rupees, obviously in agreement with the monkey, but I still love both the monkeys and him who to eat invented a scene worthy of applause. This is India. You go from spirituality to deception in a second. I'm moving from this city, but this time by car because of sunstroke I got the day before.
Damn, I have a fever, too much sun.
I didn't sleep and I couldn't go out until sunset. Even a single ray of sunshine was like putting my head in the oven. So this time I took the car. Before leaving you, I want to point out that in this episode I talked about Hinduism, which covers about 80% of the population. But in India, all the main religions are present, and Hinduism also has infinite currents. But there is an element that unites all Indians. Faith and daily life is not separate, but is welded in one word: spirituality. The set of all these religions and civilizations that have accumulated over the centuries mark the country with an indelible characteristic: diversity.